i-recommenda mo sa secretary ng DOE na yung ating coal plant sa Semirara, wag na nating i-export. Dito natin gamitin at yung mga diesel-fired na mga power plant mo sa mga spag areas, unti-unti ipagamit mo yung Semirara coal. Mura kasi yun eh. Kesa dun sa diesel. Lalo na ngayon, kung talagang wala nang, kung totoo talaga na walang diesel at mahal na mahal. Kasi po ngayon, Mr. President, Mr. Chair, kung bakit naman meron tayong sariling coal, bakit natin ina-export, ba't di natin gamitin? Ang palagi pong kinakatwiran ng DOE, ito si Yusek Puentebella, mahina daw yung calorific value. Hindi totoo yun. Merong isang gustong bumili. Nagbibigay siya ng kontrata. Lahat ng ipoproduce ng Semirara, bibili niya. Kahit nasabihin pa niyong low calorific value. Isipin niyo kung anong mangyayari noon. Kung halimbawa coal plants na lahat. Halimbawa sa Mindoro, dalawang electric cooperatives yan eh. Puro diesel. Isipin po ninyo ang universal charge, Mr. President. Si Chairman, ako, tayong lahat, si Senator Ligarda, Senator Risa, ala na bang katapusan kaming bayad ng universal charge? Hindi naman namin nagagamit yun eh. Ganun po ang nagiging sistema natin ngayon. Nang dahil sa napakamahal ng gasolina, ay talagang wala na pong katapusan, lalo na po yung spag areas. Unless, isa po, yung nga sinasabi ko, wag na po nating export yung coal na nanggagaling sa Semirara. Pagkatapos po, pagibayuhin natin na magkaroon na ng transmission. Yung pong matagal ng pangarap na manggagaling po sa Batangas papunta ng Mindoro, hindi po baligtad. Ang ginawa po yata ngayon binaligtad eh. Tama po, hindi. Kamahiya, tama ka muna. So, balik na po ako. Munang sagutin. Balik na po ako kay Secretary Garin. Huwag ka nagtatago, ma'am. Magkaibigan tayo, di ba? Secretary Garin, ito po, presentation po ninyo. Sa ngayon, meron tayong 46 days sa diesel. Ito po yung di po natin nasagot mabuti kanina. Sa gasolina, meron pa po tayong 53 days. Ibig sabihin po ito, inventaryo po pre-crisis. Dahil sabi po ng Pangulo noon, 50 to 60. Tama naman po eh. Kung ito po ay original na inventaryo, kanina ko po tinatanong, after 2 weeks po, bakit naging 121 pesos ang average ng diesel? Meron pa po tayong 46 days.
Mr. Chair, yung inventory is not pre-war lang. Kasi may mga deliveries after the commencement.
Yun ang sinasabi po nila.
Apa.
Yun po yung
We
sinasabi
monitored
nila.
it also, Mr. Chair.
Ngunit, sabi ko nga po sa inyo, kung kinukuha po nila ay yung supply sa sinasabi kong mga tangke na nasa Singapore, kwentado ko na po, kung gusto po nila CIF na lang para iwasan na natin yung sinasabing insurance. Mura lang po yung insurance, hindi po ganun kalaki yun eh. CIF, ang ibig po sabihin, yung pong vessel ng Petronas o kaya vessel ng Rotterdam, sila na po ang pupunta, kakargahan ng mga tangke sa Pilipinas. Kwentado ko na po yung presyo, hindi po ganun kamahal. 28, ano ba ito? 29 point, sabi na natin 30 pesos per liter po Rotterdam Refinery, Singapore.
Yes, sir.
Idagdag na po natin ang napakarami pong local added costs. Ayun, VAT, 2% CME, BIR, marking, excise tax, 12% input VAT, SGS survey, broker's fee, storage, importation, 15 pesos and 51 cents po ito. So pag pinagsama po ito, 45 pesos and 35 cents lang per liter. Ngayon po, yung SRP nila, kung tawagin po nila ito, passion price, 50 pesos, may kita pa po siyang halos 5 piso per liter. So, ang tinatanong ko po, paano nangyari, kung saan po ba nila kinuha? Paano nangyari na imbes na manatili na sa, let's say, 55 pesos, paano po naging 121 pesos?
Mr. Chair, ang calculations namin has been the same since based on the industry practices, considering it's deregulated, walang kontrol ng gobyerno. So what we have been practicing with the oil companies on estimating their increases is based on replacement cost, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair, ako po, naintindihan natin yung deregulated po yung oil industry. Pero kung ganito naman po kalaki, na 2 weeks pa lang, from 55 to 121 pesos, baka naman po kailangan nating usisain. Baka yung sinasabi po yung practices, baka kailangan naman po siguro nating revisuhin o i-revisit natin yung practices na yun. Wala naman po sigurong masama. Paano po ninyo nakuwenta yung 121 pesos? O sasabihin nila, Madam Secretary, based on our practices, naniwala na po tayo sa ganung salita lang. Paano po yung mga datos na pinakikita ko sa inyo ngayon?
Apo, Mr. Chair, will review the submissions, but actually halos every day na namin chine-check yan yung mga submissions nila, chine-check namin, and according to the current accounting practice, nakaka-follow, but we will review and submit kung ano yung mga findings.
Siguro po,
namin, Mr. Chair.
pinakamaganda, Mr. Chair, tawagin natin po yung mga major players, maski na po yung mga small players. Saan po ninyo kinukuha ang ating imported, ini-import na langis?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Actually, meron kaming reports niyan on where, saan galing ang mga supplies nila. Different countries, mostly here in Southeast Asia, it's China, South Korea, Singapore, Taiwan, Malaysia, Japan, Brunei, Hong Kong, Thailand, India, Vietnam. Pero iba dyan hindi na nagde-deliver, pero most of them are still delivering, Mr. Chair.
Kaya po ako medyo nagtataka, Mr. Chair, bakit po tayo nakikipag-usap sa South Korea saka sa China? Nandun po yung mga tangke sa Singapore. Mas malapit po tayo ron eh. Bakit hindi po yun ang tingnan natin? Kahit na po ngayon, makikita po natin magkano yung FOB price sa Rotterdam tank sa Singapore. Ito po, FOB, $570 per metric ton. Kinuwenta ko na po eh. Kung kukunin nyo po sa Petronas, kanino ko pa po sinasabi sa inyo, CIF, 640 per metric ton. So paano po lalayo itong mga figures na ito? Bakit po hindi sila kumuha sa Singapore? Bakit tayo kumukuha sa South Korea? Bakit po tayo pumupunta hanggang pati po yung Latin America po gusto pa nating puntahan at ang Amerika? Siguro po, Madam Secretary, total nakakausap niyo naman si President Trump. Sabi mo, ikaw naman na nagpasimula nito. Pwede ba yung oil mo na nanggagaling sa Alaska, bigyan mo naman kami? Secretary.
Yes, Mr.
Ikaw naman kamo nagpasimula nito. Wala namang kaming kinalamanan dito eh. O titingnan mo ngayon, nagkakahirap-hirap tayo ng kung paano natin sasagutin lahat itong mga pinagtatatanong natin ngayon.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we will inform the oil companies, and kasi ito nga, because of the
Chicken po natin, ma'am, kasi
yes, Mr. Chair.
itatanong lang natin, bakit hindi po kayo kumukuha diyan sa mga tangki sa Singapore? Ito pala yung presyo per metric ton. Saan po ba kayo kumukuha? Baka naman po ang sinasabi sa inyo, dumidirekta sila sa Dubai, hindi na po kami makakuha ngayon kasi po 100% po ng aming inangkat, dadaan po kami sa Hormuz. Bakit po sila magpapakasakit pumunta sa Hormuz nasa Singapore nga lang ang pinag-uusapan natin? Ito po yung sinasabi ko. Meron po ba tayong crisis o wala? Kasi po, kung ito masasagot nila, malalaman natin kung ang crisis na ito is self-inflicted o kaya baka hindi naman totoo ito. Kasi po may data po eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I-recheck namin based on kunin namin ano, but this is just our values are pegged on the international market, and it's based on the accounting practices they have. Ang how we come up with our computations has always been kung ano po ang nasa market sa international, but we will recheck po and compare to the data that you have, Mr. Chair, para we can check with the oil companies also why they are not getting from Singapore, or not all of them, no, kasi sa kanila may Singapore din pero may iba-iba ring countries, Mr. Chair.
Yes, Mr. Chair. I will not belabor this. Ang gusto ko lang pong sabihin, sana po, kapag sinabi sa inyo po yung current industry practices, reviewin po natin. Kasi meron naman po tayong kaparaanan para i-review natin yung mga datos nila. Halimbawa po, yung shipping cost, FOB ito, 1,500 or about per metric ton ito. Sa Makatwid, lilitaw po rito mga $15 per metric ton. Kung CIF naman po, wala na yon. Ito, lilitaw na lamang po yung $640 per metric ton. Yung MAPS, ito po yung mean of Platts Singapore, ito $1.71 lang. For the record, Mr. Chair, ibibigay ko po sa kanila itong mga datos na ito para makatulong po pa kung paano po i-analyze natin ito eh. Huwag po tayong nakadepende na lamang sa sasabihin nila. Samantalang pwede naman po tayong magtanong. Ito po, kinuha ko lang po doon sa mga kaibigan nating industry players sa Singapore. Maliwanag naman po na, at pina-check ko rin po, nagkakatugma naman po. Kaya hindi ko maintindihan paano po nangyari after 2 weeks, 121 pesos ang isinikad ng presyo mula sa 55. Hindi ko po masyadong maintindihan kung paano po nanahimik tayong lahat, hindi man lang natin kinu-question, hindi man lang natin ni-review. Pwede po nating pag-usapan, industry players, bakit po naging 120, bakit hindi naging 56 na lang, or 57 or 58? Bakit po lumundag sa napakalaki? 120% po ang sinikad po ng presyo. Hindi man lang tayo nag-initiate po ng pagtatanong. Salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Marcoleta. And with that, Secretary Garin, nasa isang talagang kakaibang sitwasyon tayo ngayon. Ang DOE ba walang kapangyarihan tignan yung presyo na binibili ng mga oil companies dahil napakadaling umabuso eh. Napakadaling samantalahin yung sitwasyon. Bibili ka ngayon na mura, wala pang 2 araw, mahal na yung presyo, pwede mo ibenta ng mahal na presyo. At yan rin yung tanong ng marami sa ating mga jeepney drivers, PUV drivers, kahit na kami ni Senator Marcoleta, kasi nga nakikita sa ibang bansa mas mura, pero ang benta dito almost double, no, Senator Marcoleta? So under the law, under the powers of DOE, wala ba kayong kapangyarihan na tignan yung presyo ng mga oil companies sa pagbili nila ng kanilang mga oil stocks para masigurado natin na hindi naman sobra-sobra, hindi naman nang aabuso na itong mga oil companies. And when I say oil companies, lahat, from refineries to traders to retail dealers.
Yes, Mr. Chair. Basically, wala pong powers yung DOE because it is a fully liberalized industry, and the only way we could have found a way to prevent the profiteering and hoarding was use another law, Mr. Chair. And in fact, under the Price Act, wala po yung gasoline tsaka diesel. So it's a industry that has been we left it to competition. The best course for now is go through PCC, Mr. Chair. But ano na yan, it won't prevent it eh. We're hoping that the powers would prevent any abuse rather than after na, no? Pero as of now po, we can monitor and investigate, evaluate, but the powers of the OE are limited in that case, Mr. Chair.
Hindi ko maalis yung question ni Senator Marcoleta, yung price difference ang laki. No? Tayo naghihirap dito, naghahanap tayo ng solusyon, nag-aaway-away tayo dito, pero yung mga oil companies, uupo lang ng 2 or 3 days, kita na kaagad eh. No? And bulag tayo, gobyerno, bulag tayo. No? I was looking at itong oil deregulation law, and meron isang section dito, I'll flash it on the screen, slide 96, section 14 of RA 8479. Ang sabi dito, in times of national emergency, when the public interest so requires, the DOE may, during the emergency, under reasonable terms prescribed by it, temporarily take over or direct the operation of any person or entity engaged in the industry. Nag-research kami, merong Executive Order 839, series 2009, issued by President GMA at that time kasi may calamity. And it put a price ceiling on oil. No? But this is of course in times of national emergency. Ang punto namin dito, no, pag umabot tayo sa isang national emergency, hindi rin tayo pwedeng naghahanap ng oil, naghahanap ng supply, pero yung mga oil companies, unabated, silang bahala mag-set ng presyo. At hindi natin alam kung yung presyo nila ay labis-labis, or sakto lang, or reasonable. But based on the computation ni Senator Marcoleta, mukhang sobra-sobra eh. No? Can we use this in case talagang malala na yung sitwasyon and make sure that the oil companies are not taking advantage of the situation?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Pwede bang gamitin yan?
Mr.
And
Chair,
in terms of pricing, not only supply, but in terms of pricing, can we put a price ceiling para hindi naman sobra-sobra yung kanilang pagsisingil o pass on sa consumer? Pwede ba yan?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
But we need to declare a national emergency, a state of national emergency.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
All right. Thank you. Senator Marcoleta.
Mr. Chair, I beg to disagree that the government is helpless under the regime of the regulation. Kasi yung deregulation po kasi is dictated the market forces. Wala naman pong problema doon eh. Ang sinasabi ko, Singapore offers this is the market-driven price now. Nakalagay po rito either FOB or CIF nandito. So anong pinagbabasihan nila? Yun ang tinatanong ko, bakit after 2 weeks sumikat ng 120%? Which is not only arbitrary, parang very highly unusual na mangyayari yun. So tinatanong natin, helpless ba ang gobyerno na kung ano yung sinabi ng let's say, oil company? Yun na yun. Wala ba tayong man lang na initiative that tama ba? Is it dictated purely by market? Baka hindi. Pag nireview natin ang market, hindi. So papayag sila. Teka muna, deregulated tayo. The regulation is based on the dictates of free market. So hindi mo sinunod. So sinasabi lang natin, ito yung merkado eh. Sumunod ka sa merkado. We're not trying to control you. Hindi ka namin nire-regulate. But you have to follow the market trend. Meron tayong PCC, Philippine Competition Commission. Pwede naman siyang pumasok po dito eh para makita niya ang competition kasi is also market-driven. So wala po akong nakikita na inconsistent dito in order to protect the interest of the country. I don't think DOE is helpless. Hindi po pwede yung 55 pesos after barely 2 weeks, naging 121 pesos. Wala man lang tayong mati-check. Meron na, nag-check nga po ako eh. Sarili ko na lang po para makita po natin talaga because I really cannot believe na lumundag siya ng napakalaking ganon unless na kumukuha sila sa Strait of Hormuz talaga. Wala kayong, hindi naman po pwede yun.
Mr. Chair.
Yes, Senator, Secretary Garin.
As per international market on the maps, between before and up to today, gasoline increased by $79.42, Mr. Chair. Diesel increased by $168.13. And those are combined with all our calculations. Kaya doon po yung base, how much was the increase, and then the increase is being estimated as to the pump price. So anong madadagdag sa linggo na yun, doon po yung basis nito. It's not like the Bureau does not look at it. Check naman nila. But and how we compute that is based on what is traditionally being done, which is the replacement cost. That's an accounting practice. Kasi pag umakyat yung presyo, if you allow them lang half the price, then they won't have enough kasi to replace that. So yun po yung logic niyan para to put it simply. Pero our monitoring follows naman. May mga benchmarks naman kami. Hindi naman yung pinapabayaan lang and then we let them. Because once we see an irregularity, pinapa-report din namin. The administrative or the criminal or the civil part, wala kaming powers doon, no? Pero we can monitor and we talk to them naman, and then they correct it if there's something wrong, or we accept it if they can justify. Pero hindi po, ayoko nang sabihin no, hindi po, wala pong ginagawa yung DOE dyan. We constantly monitor, halos every day, every hour na ngayon, para ma-monitor yung maps po. Kasi doon nakapeg ang presyo natin. But if there are prices that are lower in the international market, then we can explore the sources and also reconsider the replacement cost or the pegging of the price on the maps, Mr. Chair.
Yung po kasi sinasabi niyong maps. Ano pong reference na pinag-uusapan natin? Kanina po yung USEC nagsalita, Dubai Plots. Hindi po natin pinag-uusapan ng Dubai Maps. Irrelevant po yun sa usapin. Ang pinag-uusapan, ang sinasabi ko po sa inyo, yung price po sa Singapore na nandito ngayon. Bakit po pinipilit natin? Why are we monitoring the maps? Kung kani-kanino, kung Dubai or kung saan. Ang sinasabi ko po, ito na po yung dictated price sa Singapore sa tangke po ng dalawang malalaking refinery sa buong mundo. Petronas and Rotterdam. Ano po yung minomonitor pa natin?
Mr. Chair, the MAPS is the best assessment for price discovery. So, itong plots is a firm na itinayo for the longest time. Ang trabaho niya ay mag-assess doon sa mga spot market, mga mercantile exchange. Doon niya nakikita ang presyohan average for the day. So, marami hong products kasi Dubai, isa din yan na naging popular na hub, and historically, siya na talaga ang hub for the Middle East. So, minomonitor ni Platts at nire-record niya for the day yung price, including yung finished products which starts from gasoline, diesel, kerosene. What our secretary mentioned na tumaas po ang gasoline in a matter of 3 weeks from $78 per barrel to $158 per barrel was the product itself, yung gasolina na po. And then the diesel increase ho in a matter of 3 weeks from $92 per barrel to $260 per barrel, or $168 per barrel increase in a matter of 15 days. In percentage ho, yung diesel price na yan, in a matter of 15 days, increase ho ng 182%. So that's the reason it's like a price, a triple increase.
Pwede mo bang i-disaggregate yung maps mo? Anong bansa yung sinasabi mo?
Hindi ho ito.
Hindi niya nakikita yung Singapore.
Ito yung mga
ito yung price na
trades.
sinasabi ko, pinipilit mo yung indicators ninyo. I-disaggregate mo para magkaintindihan tayo. Saang bansa yan?
Halos lahat ho na nag-i-enroll doon sa...
Hindi nga ganun eh. Kung ang indicator mo yung maps, na indicative halimbawa yung galaw sa buong mundo halimbawa, hindi yun ang pinag-uusapan natin eh. kung ano talaga yung presyo ng mga refineries ngayon na
Mr.
nandun sa
Chair,
Singapore.
we can produce the detail. Kukunin talaga namin yung per hour, per minute transaction. But the mean is the mean, the average for the day. Yun lang naman ang nilalabas in the end ng plots.
Yeah, but it is not consistent with what is the price in Singapore now ng mga tangke ng mga refineries. Alin ang susundan mo? Yung indicative na trend ng maps o yung actual price that dictated by the tanks in Singapore?
Mr. Chair, it's a platform where the buying and tradings are happening. Naka-record ho yung nagbabay, nagtitrade. And then, they end up getting the mean, the average for the whole
Well,
day.
actually, I'm sorry, but actually that is the usual argument used by the oil companies. I'm sorry, sinasabi ko lang, kung ito yung pinepedel nila, ito naman ang bili na tayo ng bili, hindi tayo magkakaintindihan. I am sure ang sinasabi mo are supplied by the oil companies. Am I correct?
We do have a subscription,
Yeah, but
Mr. Chair.
Sa oil
And
companies,
the oil
nang galing
companies
yan.
are also subscribing the
Yan
same.
nga galing yan, di ba?
The same.
Yung ibinabasa mo, galing sa oil company.
Well, there are two known assessment firms. Mayroon ho tayong, ano yun, Yusek, yung isa? Yung ini-introduce sana natin. The Argos. Pero medyo mas sikat ho talaga yung maps, kaya yung plots. So we use the plots. But the other choice is to go to the platform of Argos. So pwede naman ho doon. Pero because it's highly commoditized, there's no such thing anymore na nagtatawagan na ho yung mga trader. Doon na lang ho sila nagtitingin doon sa platform for trading.
Ginagamit nga natin, kung maps ang sasabihin mo, yung mean of plots, Singapore. Maps din ito eh. Hindi ko maintindihan ba't pinipilit nyo pa yung ibang maps. Singapore nga yung sinasabi ko eh. Ito yung reference natin eh.
Right,
Mr.
Senator.
Chair, we can get hold of the document so we can study the document.
We'll recognize Senator Lauren, and thank you, Senator, for joining us again. I know that you have a lot of good insights and suggestions. So, maraming
Thank
salamat.
you very much, Mr. Chair, for convening this very important crisis committee hearing. And yes, I came from the BARM Parliament Forum, and Senator Mig Subiri is there. Yes, I have a question for the DOE based on the pronouncements today. The DOE announced today that it is spending 20 billion pesos to buy 2 million barrels of diesel. But it was said in the hearing earlier, I was monitoring, that it's now 12 billion for 1 million barrels now that we are in a crisis. So pag yung 2 million barrels, so 24 billion, instead of having built a reserve before the crisis. So that's a fact. This came from the monitoring of the hearing and press statements today. The same 2 million barrels would have only cost 10 billion pesos instead of 24 billion because the DOE failed to build the buffer stock. The government needs an additional 14 billion on our oil stocks because we seemingly, correct me if I'm wrong, did not plan ahead. Other ASEAN governments, namely Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, it's a standard practice for them to stockpile oil even at a time when we are not in crisis, but the DOE did not and only started stockpiling oil when we are already in a crisis, unlike our ASEAN neighbors. So may I hear from the DOE, what is the answer that we're scrambling now to buy emergency stocks at more than double the price than we would have paid before? Buying in an emergency, of course, costs more. Doble ang presyo. Bakit tayo hindi nag-stockpile gaya ng ating mga ASEAN neighbors at bakit ganito ang presyo ngayon? Obviously, because we are in a crisis. Why did the DOE fail in that respect? Or at least that is in my perspective.
Mr. Chair.
Go ahead, Secretary.
Mr. Chair, due to the oil deregulation law, the stockpiling is now passed on to our private companies. That's how it has been practiced. Dahil sila na yung nagdinegosyo sa langis, doon din sila, DOE requires them a certain minimum level of stocks. DOE by itself does not have the funding for this because we only have 2.5 billion per year as budget. It is actually now very expensive for if we do a stockpiling of 1 million barrels, good enough for 5 days, it's about 12 billion. We have the facility given by DBM for 20 billion. We are envisioning na hindi naman kailangan 24 kasi pagdating niyan, kung meron tayong oil companies na may kulang na, then we can have them access the stocks para paikot-ikot lang siya. And this is in addition to hopefully that the oil companies are able to stock also their purchases. So ginagawa rin na nila yan. They're doing purchases and we have checked with them. They have confirmed incoming deliveries this week and next week, and they're working on their deliveries for April, Mr. Chair.
Maliwanag bang inaamin ng DOE na hindi tayo, Philippine government, DOE, sabi mo na maski deregulated tayo, urging at least the private sector in preparation for any potential crisis, hindi talaga nag-stockpile at ginagawa niyong dahilan ay dahil deregulated tayo. At sinasabi niyo, pagpalitan niyo yung batas, kung balik sa regulasyon or regulated, ay kaya natin mag-stockpile. Yun ba ang ginagawa niyong dahilan?
Mr. Chair, we haven't stockpiled. The government itself hasn't stockpiled for decades already. Ngayon,
I'm not saying government. When I say tayo, whole of government ito, deregulated, at least may constant coordination and meeting with the private sector so any potential crisis, just like our ASEAN neighbors, may buffer stock na safe. We're buying now at more than double what we could have bought for 10 billion because we did not stockpile. So I want to understand, is it all to be blamed because of the oil deregulation law enacted decades ago or dahil hindi naisip ng DOE and it failed in trying to anticipate possible crisis? It's a simple question. You don't need the technical experts.
Mr. Chair, because of the oil deregulation law and also the privatization of this industry, the burden has shifted to the private. Now, the private, minomonitor po namin yan every week on their inventory. The requirement is actually 15 days. 15 days is just good enough para buffer for 2 weeks. Pero hindi mahirap din i-increase because of the capacity of their storage and also the price of the product. Kaya doon po nakapeg sa 15 days more or less. Pero now, lucky enough, they have enough for 3 times that, Mr. Chair.
Is stockpiling an act of regulation or is it just a matter of prudent planning? Hindi naman yan parang naghihimasok tayo sa pribadong negosyo at gagawin natin dahilan ang oil deregulation law at tikom ang bibig at nakagapos ang gobyerno dahil ang batas ginawa 20 years ago. Hindi, pagplano yan eh. Pagsasangguni eh. Pag-uusap eh. Para ano man ang krisis, kaya nga surprise yung nangyari kung tayo ay nakikipag-ugnayan gaya ng ibang mga bansang binanggit ko sa ASEAN ay hindi tayo masyadong gipit, which brings me to the statement made earlier which I monitored. Ano ba yung sabi? Tagtuyot? Ano yun? Ano yung sinabi dito? Ano yung sinabi dito? Nasaan yun? We could run dry. Yes. I heard it. So because Number one, hindi naghanda ang DOE at ang ginagawa niyong dahilan ay ang deregulation law. At dahil hindi tayo nag-stockpile dahil sabi nyo, hindi nyo gawain yan, na sa aking paningin ay hindi yan paghihimasok sa pribadong negosyo kung hindi prudent planning. Tapos sinabi ng DOE, we could actually run dry. Tagtuyot, mauubusan, ilan na lang. Paliwanag po ano ang ibig sabihin. Akin na yung salitang yon. Ano ba yung sinabing? Tsaktong sinabi. We will run dry. The worst case is that our country runs dry. Okay, sabihin natin, sa 110 million Filipinos, DOE, Secretary, the worst case is the country will run dry. Pakipaliwanag po ang tagtuyot sa sambayan ng Pilipino para po kami maintindihan namin ang paghahandang dapat gawin. Kung ganyan po ang sinasabi ng Department of Energy, hindi pa ba yan krisis? Ayaw pa ba talagang yugyugin ang mga utak ng mga tao sa gobyerno para tanggapin na tayo'y nasa isang krisis? At sinasabi na that we will run dry. Pakipaliwanag po para maintindihan, mapondohan, nandiyan ang chair ng finance, para ang ibang ahensya ng gobyerno ay maghanda pa at masyado pang gipitin ang belt tightening sa paghahanda. We want to understand. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Mr. Chair. The running dry means we run out of fuel and of gasoline and
Yes,
diesel.
yes, obviously. Teka po. English po yung sinabi nyo, sinalita nyo yon translated sa Filipino. Maaari sigurong karaya kung gusto nyo. Ibig ko sabihin paliwanag, hindi po translation. What I mean, what I want the DOE to say is the implications. What does running dry mean in terms of the farmer and the fisher folk and the jeepney driver and all of those in the lower income and middle income, all of us? What are the implications insofar as agriculture, insofar as transport sector, nandiyan ang DOTR, insofar as what are your action plans? Because you said it, not us. The country will run dry. Kung tayo'y mauubusan na ng langis na nagpapatakbo ng ating ekonomiya, gusto namin marinig ni Chair kanina pang 9:00. Anong action plan na hindi motherhood statement? Thank you, Chair.
Secretary.